So my name's Joy Prime. I was born in 1962. My father was a carpenter. My mother was a seamstress stroke couturier. My mum came to England in 1963 with myself, my sister, and my two brothers. And so, as early as I can remember myself, I see her sewing clothes for people. So I did fashion studies at London College of Fashion, and I really enjoyed the process, but I didn't see throughout that whole process, I never saw anything that represented what my mother did. And many people like her, because as I got older, I realized that she had friends that did similar things as well. And I felt that there's this chunk of it that's missing. It's time that we try to include what they did.
My name is Sylvia Prime Holder. My age is 84 in a couple months' time. I was born in Gillingham Junction in the county of Caroni, and that is in Trinidad and Tobago. I was a very bright girl at school, and I remembered we had a teacher by the name of Miss Cotton, and she was a sewing class teacher. And this is where I began to learn to do all the stitches, cross stitch, all the stitch you could think of, because she had a sewing machine there, you know. And I became very interested in that. After I left school, that my dad, he wanted to send me to high school. And I thought, I don't want to go to high school. I want to learn to do sewing, because that was all in my head now. I was focusing on, I love doing things with my hands.
85. I was born in Jamaica, St. Catherine, and my village was Brownstown. I went to Point here Baptist School, and I just started was to do my exams, but actually I didn't finish it because my father was not very well, and so he couldn't afford to pay for school for me. So I went to do sewing instead. So from the age of about 17, I started to go to sewing school, which I enjoy myself very much with the other girls. Well, the school, we had a lot of fun because we were all the same age group. My father used to pay wages for this school, which wasn't easy for him, but he did try. And then after that, I never stopped doing sewing. Yeah, my sisters.
Right.
Yeah, and brothers, I used to do a bit of sewing for them. Oh gosh, I remember making skirts and top. I did one for my brother, and he spoiled a bit. He didn't take it very serious. We just laugh about it and put a patch in it. From the time you say you go in sewing school, everybody want you to do the sewing. The family.
My dad, so I was so determined. I did not want to go to high school. He thought, well, he sent me to learn to do sewing. And there is where I began to really work hard. And this lady, she was a very good seamstress. She taught me how to measure and cut. After I did my 6 months course there, I started sewing and I started making dresses for myself. And I'm a person, I love dressing up. And when people would see me walking down the street with a lovely dress, who made that dress, you know? There were people who had other seamstresses in the area, and they would take their materials from that seamstress and bring it to me so I could make their dresses. So I used to sew for my dad, my brothers, 6 brothers, sew their trousers, their underwear, and even for my 2 sisters, I used to sew their dresses. And every dress, they had matching hat. I used to make the hat. What my dad used to, he used to buy these 100-pound bag of flour. Now, this bag of flour has writing on it. What my job was, being the eldest girl, I had to wash those bags, get all those marking off the bag, because those bag was meant for making underwear for my dad and my brothers, and to make sheets and pillowcases. We'd get 4 of those bags, join them together, and get pattern. We had what you call carbon copy, and we would get the different patterns and put carbon copy onto the material.
Yeah, the name is Leo Ford. I'm from Bridgetown, Barbados. I was born 12th of September 1932. That would make me, my next birthday be 90. Well, at that time in Barbados, they had some very good tailors.
Right.
But the main tailor in Barbados was a company. And that company had a lot of different tailors in different sections of the tailor shop.
Yes.
Big shop, and they employed these tailors.
Yes.
And they also trained young people to become tailors.
Yeah.
Well, my tailor, he came from that store, that tailor shop.
Yes.
At that time, the best place to get materials to make suits was the Coston Company. Whatever, the best material
Right.
they used to sell,
Yeah.
but very expensive.
Okay.
So you work and you save up your money and buy your suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buy what you want. Yeah. He made 2 suits for me
Right.
before I left Barbados. And I brought them here with me.
Yes. Well, when I came to England, I was 24 years old. And my late husband, he came up here first. He had this desire, he wanted to come to England. He said within a year he's going to send for us, which he did. That was a bit of excitement. And 4 children, aged from 4 to 10 months. Yes, that was something.
I was 26 years old. I was on holidays from work. So I had to go back and hand them my notice. And they weren't pleased about it. But he was a very nice person. And he said to me, I'm going to miss you. But if I were you, I'd start going to college over there and come back and work for us. I promised I would do that after 5 years, but I didn't.
Somebody come for 5 years. They never go. I travel by aeroplane.
Nice.
And you remember when they had the propeller?
Yes.
So we had to stop, I think it's in Bermuda, and to refill again. And we had fun on the plane. Didn't even think this propeller.
It felt safe.
Yeah, we did feel safe because I didn't understand.
Had you travelled on a plane before then?
No,
Okay.
never. That's the first time.
Yeah, so we traveled by ship. When we left Trinidad and sailed, it was fine, the waters was fine. And then, of course, sailing on to Barbados, the water became a bit choppy. Everybody was running to the toilet and being sick and things like that. And so anyhow, we got into our cabin, myself and the 4 children, and settled them in. And they were a bit sick. And I thought maybe life is just in the cabin only. I never thought that, oh, we can go upstairs, until one day, one of my sons, he wanted to go to the bathroom. So I took him and I stood outside. But of course, when I stood outside the bathroom, I could hear like piano playing. I said, I could hear piano, and I recognized the song that was playing on the piano. And we went up and I saw so many people. Some were playing dominoes, some were playing cards, some were around the bars. And there was this man just playing away on the piano, and I stood near the piano. And he said, "Can you play the piano?" I said, "Yes, I can." I had brought quite a lot of my gospel songs with me, and I took them out. And I went upstairs again, and there again the piano was there, vacant, and I went to the piano and I began to play songs. And quite a lot of the people who were playing the dominoes and the cards and some around the bars, well, I'm telling you something, we had church. Everybody forgot what they were doing, and there was a sing-song. And there was this lady, they was from Scotland. There was an older lady and a younger one. They were missionaries from Scotland, and they came up to me and said, "Can you play Blessed Assurance?" I said, "Yes, I can." Turned the page and and they sang it as a duet. And it was an amazing experience. Yeah. And from that day, every day, I would leave the cabin and go upstairs and play on the piano.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Before we got to Portugal, we had to cross the Bay of Biscay, and there is where we hit rock bottom. There was a storm. It was so terrible. This is when it was taken in water, and then it came up and it shook. And when the storm began to, the ship started to rock and things like that, the suitcases were playing seesaw. I'm telling you, they were from one end of the bed to another. And I thought, and I prayed. I sat there. I sat on the side there. I was holding both ends of the bunk bed so that my children would fall off the bed. And I made a vow right there and then. I said, "Lord, if you would only allow me to get to England, I would serve you for the rest of my life."
I always wanted to come to England. There was something between me and English people, more so than Americans.
Right.
I'd rather be amongst English people. I came by boat for start. A boat called the Sorienta. And I had a job at London Transport. We arrived here at Sussex Coast, and then the transport sent buses to pick us up,
Yes.
Yeah, that took us to the house. And after that, that was a Sunday.
Right.
And the Monday, we had to go to school to learn the transport way of life.
Okay.
My first impression, when we docked at Liverpool, I was so disappointed, very disappointed indeed, because when we got to dock at Liverpool, and we got a train from Liverpool to Euston Station. And can you imagine all my children, I with this luggage, and Joy was in my hand, she was a baby, and all the other ones with a little suitcase, and there was the guard, and said, hurry up. I said, hurry up. We got them on the train, and the thing about it, everyone was saying to me, have you got enough clothes, warm clothes for the children? Because it's very cold up there. And I said, oh my God, we probably going, this might be an ice box we're going into. So what I did, I put on 2 of everything, 2 underwear, 2 panties, 2 vests, plus their shirt and blah, blah, and then the coat. And of course, when we got to where we were going to this place, and this place is still there today, Foxbury Road. But when we did climb the stairs, and you have to go up a bit more, where the stairs was leading us to, the attic. Well, can you imagine how I felt? Yes, my lovely home, nice, highly polished furnitures and floors and everything. And sold out quite a lot of our furnitures in order to raise the money to get to this place. And this is what we come to, an attic. And it was very, very cold. Very cold indeed. I was so disappointed. And make it worse, my late husband, he did not even have a job. And every time he went out for a job, I would just sit there and I would cry. I said, I'd like to go back home. But I wouldn't cry for my children to see it. They were so busy looking through the window because they see the train passing by, and it was excitement for them because they never seen any train before. And they always sit by the window and watching the train go by. That was abruptly stationed there.
I couldn't believe it because I was looking really for somewhere bright and nice. It was all dark. And the houses, because back home, you have nice painted houses and they look beautiful. Yeah. So I was coming to see something even better than that. But I was a bit disappointed. They were dark, the houses, and which I understand is the smoke. So I had to go to the labor exchange the other day.
Yes.
And they offer you lots of jobs. Some you won't have, and some you would try. I used to work at Standard, what's the name of it now? Standard Telephone.
Okay.
That's my first job.
Where I worked on the bus as a conductor.
Right, okay.
Yeah, in those days there was a lot of conductors and drivers.
Yes, that's right.
They crew up, they call it crew.
Yeah.
Right. I met a driver. He was a new driver, and he didn't know the way and things like that. He just came with the army, a young fella, and I showed him the way sort of thing and help him, And he got to like me. So he invited me to his house. He lived with his mother-in-law and his wife and a kid. And he introduced me to his mother-in-law. The idea is that he wanted me to come and live with his mother-in-law. I didn't know that. So he said to me, how they treating you where you live? Does she give you a cup of tea regular and sandwiches? I said, no. He never offered me a cup of tea. And he said to his mother-in-law, would you like Leo to come and live here with us? She said yes. And I lived there for over a year. She said to me, Leo, you have to pay the same money that my sons pay and my daughter paid. You have to pay that same money. And that was 30 bob a week.
Not bad.
And you get as much food as you want, especially breakfast time.
Right.
The biggest breakfast I've ever seen.
Right.
Oh, from like sort of 7:30 till about, 10 o'clock, they're still eating breakfast. In 1959, I came up to Lewisham to visit some friends.
Right.
And I came to Lewisham, I found the place very nice, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Like I said, lovely people and blah, blah. And after a while, I keep thinking I want to live in Lewisham.
Yeah.
So I applied to a transfer,
Yes, yes.
And I came up to Lewisham, and I lived in Shell Road, number 30 Shell Road.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy that job?
Very well, yeah.
What was most enjoyable about it?
The people. The people that you meet.
Yeah.
Especially the people in Lewisham.
Right.
I found the people in Lewisham were very, very decent, lovely people.
Right.
That is one of the reasons why I decided to stay in Lewisham.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And I stayed, I'm in Lewisham now from 1960 until now.
Wow.
What my late husband did, he bought a sewing machine for me. And this is when I used to get my papers, and they would be advertising for machinists. And this is where I fit in. But the first company I went to, I saw it advertising on the paper. So I said, have you got any vacancy? Yes, come along. And I leave my children indoors, say, you don't open the door, and you stay there. And mommy just going out to Crystal Palace to come out. So jump on the train, and I went to Crystal Palace. When I got there to the company, they took one friend. They looked back and said, oh, sorry. I said, I've just spoken to you, and you said the place was, the job was vacant, and I can come. Well, here I am. Oh no, it's not vacant anymore. But I knew exactly. It's because when they're saying it, what do you want here? I was disappointed I didn't get a job. But there was another one going on, and I got that one.
I used to work at home when everybody is sleeping. I'm on the machine, and then they would bring me a big sack of work, and then I would finish them off as quick as I can, so I could get another one. I used to sew for CNA. You remember CNA?
Yes.
Yeah. So I used to sew at home, and I used to sew at the factory sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes two-piece suit or trousers. I used to like the trousers to finish them quick.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to buy a lot of material from Rolls and Rents in Lewisham,
Yeah.
and also from Maggie in a place called Back Market. But I think she's still on the Broadway, not too far from the clock tower. She still sells material, and I still go down there and buy material from her now and again. You know, but with this lockdown, I've not been there since. You know, we sought for some garments for CNA, and I remembered one day I went down to Peckham, and I went into CNA, and I looked at some of these garments and said, we make some of those. So I began to overhaul them, look at them and look at the label, because at each garment that is made, you have to write your initial at the back. And I started looking. And when I saw the price that they were selling these garments for, lovely dresses, and I was only paid 3 shillings. I said, I'm not going to do any more. So I said to the guy, I said, excuse me, but please do not bring back any more of your work for me. There was this guy from, where was he from? One of these countries. He was living on the ground floor. And so that ground floor was one room, and it was vacant. So I said to my late husband, can we move down to the ground floor? Because, I mean, it will be much better, because the Arctic is very, very cold, and as for the children, you know, I used to feel so sorry. I said, this is what I brought my children into. And anyhow, he said, well, the landlady said we have to pay a bit more. I said, well, it will be better. And of course, it was empty. So there was no bed, no chairs, no cooker, nothing at all. So in Broccoli, there was a second-hand shop. So I went across and I saw there was this sofa bed, like, you know. So he said, it's quite good. You can sit on it during the day, and at night you open it up like a bed. I said, yes, I love it. So I bought that, and that was for the children. And there was another one past Shadless Road, and he was selling beds, so I went and I bought a bed. But of course, we didn't have any cooker. So what I used to cook on, because our only means of heating the room was paraffin heater. And I used to cook on the paraffin heater. We would boil the water. put the kettle on the paraffin meter to boil to make, our tea and everything. Boil water so that we can, have, to tidy the churn and everything. And get the pan and cook on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 people in that place, that building, and we had to share. I say, I'm not accustomed sharing kitchen with other people doing my cooking. And the amount of 3 pennies I punch in those outside phone to see if I can get, a place, to for the churn. All I could hear, sorry, no blacks, no Irish, no children, no dogs. Everyone. We spent about 5 years and 8 months there before, within that 5 years and 8 months, I began to get onto the council,
Right.
which I was told, so I can get a better place.
The tailor measure you from head to toe, as they say. And you tell him what you want, and then you have to go back for fittings.
Right, okay.
2 fittings.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it'll be good to
Yeah, jacket sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had some very good tailors. My first tailor in England was a man called Mr. Roth. His shop was just before the Goldsmiths College, opposite the Marquis of Granby.
Right,
It's facing the Marquis of Granby on the Lewisham Way. He was a very good tailor, very decent man. But I think he saw the business was going to go down, tailoring. So he decided to he run a betting shop on the Lewisham Way. Then after, the other tailors I had was Hepworth on the Lewisham Way, on the Lewisham High Street. They were very good.
I used to make coats for my friend's child and mine. Both of them were almost together. Jen and this other lady who you wouldn't know. Yeah. I make 2 maxi coats. And, And even over here, my friend and I make funeral dresses. And I used to jack up with another church sister. She's from Barbados.
Yes.
Yeah, and we used to make wedding things. Just she and I. And then you have to do handwork and pressing and everything.
We moved from Forest Hill, we moved to Lewisham, which we had a 4-bedroom, and of course, a big kitchenette. And so we had more spaces there, And of course, I made dresses. My first wedding dress I made was for my eldest daughter. And the second one, it was for a young lady who used to work at St. Thomas's Hospital. She was a secretary. She was an English girl. And she said, Jenny was showing them her album. And she looked at Jenny's album and she said, "Oh, do you think your mom would be able to make my wedding dress?" And she said, "Yes, of course, if you ask her." And she did ask me, and I made her wedding dress. Yeah, and even the day when she got married, what happened, her friend came to her wedding. And do you know, right there and then, well, everybody got to know that I made the wedding dress and bridesmaid dresses. And this girl, she came and after the reception, she said to me, "Can you make my wedding dress?" So I got another, right there and then, on that same day, I got a job to do her wedding dress. And the more I sew, and the more ideas come to me, and, and different things, and and I never advertised my work myself. My work advertised itself.
Yeah.
When people saw the dresses, even dresses that I'm wearing and things like that, and they get to know that I'm a dressmaker.
Yes.
Yes. In Trinidad, we call them seamstress,
Yes.
but over here we call them dressmaker.
Yeah, I love my Sunday school, learning the word of God, and it have a lot of, I think that's the best thing I've ever done, you know. There might be a little flaw here or there, but on a whole, it really put me right. Yes, and I love the church. Yeah, and I used to like going out to people's houses and talk about Christianity. We went to Blackpool. We went to almost every one of the seaside around. 'Cause that's what we had to do, holiday breaks. I remember making clothes for seaside as well. It was palisados. When you have your friends going away, I could remember a pair of dresses I made for. Who did I make them for? 2 friends.
When you think about your decision to come to England, migrate,
Yeah.
how do you feel about your choice? Do you think that it was a beneficial move for you?
Yes, it was kind of beneficial to me, because I thought, well, there's quite a lot of opportunities,
Yes.
More than I would have in Trinidad. Yeah. It has its pros and cons,
Right,
Yeah, you have to weigh up it, but I think I would have much preferred here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
loads of opportunities. Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing because when it comes to my children, if you look over there, you see so many different degrees and whatnot. I don't know if I would be able to afford that home. So in some circumstances, it's quite good. Sometimes we have it as a joke. And we said, where are all these things coming from? Nice things. They said, it's you. Make me feel blush because I don't know about that. They always laugh at me, say everything coming from me.
First of all, when you think of home, what comes to your mind?
Yeah, Lewisham. I still think of Lewisham as my home.
Yeah.
You know, that Barbados was my home once.
Yeah.
I was born there, but I sort of settled down in England. I thought myself, I'm going to settle here. That's it. I was very, very, very happy.
Yeah.
I was never unhappy in England,
Yeah.
especially Lewisham.
Especially.
Yeah. I got so many friends.
Yes.
Some departed, sadly some departed.
Yes.
But I still have a lot of friends who come and take me out, as you know.
Yes, that's
Come to my house, come take me out, ring me.
Yeah.
Look, let's go. Come and go with me to go somewhere, whatever, have a drink or whatever. I mean, Sam, my friend Sam, he liked karaoke. He would take me with him sometimes. So, yeah.
When you think about home, where is home?
In Jamaica,
Okay. And it's still Jamaica.
yes.
I used to think about Trinidad, my home.
Used to. And what about now?
Well, I think my mind has changed, because, I always say that all the older ones die out and the younger ones with different attitude, and they don't know you. So you would go there and you would feel so lonely.
Yes.
But here with all your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren is here. And I think, well, this is where I have to stay
Yes.
for the rest of my life.
So this has become home.
Yes.
Yeah.